Welcome back, everybody. We have now hit the time box to be ready for the third and last talk of the day. And I wonder if everybody's back. If not, we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. And today's talk is from Olena Romanova, who is a PPC specialist and somewhat of a guru when it comes to PPC automation. She works at a company called Notino. Now, Notino is a multi-global European cosmetic and healthcare supplier, selling what are some of the most competitive priced products in the marketplace and against some of the most intense competition. And this talk is going to get into the nuts and bolts of how PPC automation is evaluated and executed at Notino, and how this works and synchronizes with an outside environment that's changing by the day. So you're very welcome today, Olena, and we're very excited to see your talk. And if you can start when you're ready, and I'll switch my video off now.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for introduction, Mark. So as Mark said, I'm Olena Romanova. I'm doing the PPC magic and all the automation possible that I can get into in Notino. And the goal of my today's talk is to share with you as much as possible actionable steps, whether you're in e-commerce business or an agency managing other e-commerce clients, to have about 10 actionable points by points that you can apply already without any preparations. And heads up, if you have any questions, don't forget that we have the Q&A button. But regarding all the materials that I'll be mentioning in the presentation, they are linked. So you will have all the sources in the presentation when you get it, so you don't have to ask about that. So I will share my screen with you so you can see the slides. So super quickly about me. I'm working in digital marketing for approximately 8 years. Over time, more and more specializing in PPC and technical aspects of PPC. And for the past 4 years, I'm working more and more on e-commerce projects. And currently, I'm in-house in Notino, managing the mostly French-speaking campaigns, and of course everything automation or automated report that makes sense for our team. If you didn't come across Notino before, we have over 500 items in stock, thousands of products. So as you can imagine, it's a bit of a challenge to manage everything from one small office with a handful of PPC specialists, because we have to scale it. If you never saw our website, this is the overall selection that we have. If you go to the menu, you can see that we offer everything that concerns health and beauty. It's incredible diversity in our portfolio, so it's not a niche thing that we can easily optimize because it's one particular core product. So we have to be very diverse in how we approach all of those targetings. So Notino is present in basically all of the Europe, and we're expanding even outside of European Union. The company exists for about 16 years, gradually expanding more and more. So you can imagine there is a whole spectrum of how to localize the product, but also for PPC specialists is like, how can we localize our PPC campaigns and not just have a translation? So if you're watching it, for example, from United Kingdom, for you it will be more like export campaigns. But for our business, it's having the most localized possible experience for the users when they're also searching for us. So it's as much local as possible. Our PPC team that manages all those 24 countries is only 10 people that are part of the marketing team, and the rest are those amazing people that do the magic. So without further ado, let's make our all lives easier, and I'll try to share as many automated or sometimes semi-automated steps that can help your paid search campaigns. To give structure to today's presentation, I divided into 3 main blocks. So in the beginning, I will talk about how to manage the search volume, especially when there is external issues affecting the market. Then I will talk about how to hack and control your budget, because for many companies it was an issue during Corona. Either it's how to control it and make it smaller, or how on the other side deal with a huge volume. And the last block of tips and tricks will be dedicated to how to make your already automated product search ads even more flexible, because that's what we need when there are these external factors. We need to be able to adapt as possible. So we are starting with how to successfully manage that search volume that is suddenly changing and what can help you. So my first approach, steal from the best, steal from yourself. You have your shopping campaigns, which can be a great asset to your search campaigns. The issue with shopping campaigns, if you are outside of United Kingdom, you might have noticed that the disparity between search terms in your shopping campaigns and search campaigns is very drastic, because Google is very good with English language, with pairing English search terms. However, in other languages, it's not always the case. Why does it happen? If you're not familiar with this, super quick overview: when we show in product ads, we bid on the product. Of course, as Mike was, for example, speaking, that it's very important to be to have query-based shopping campaigns, part of it. So no matter what structure of shopping campaigns you have, you still bid on the product. However, in search ads, you bid on the keywords. So that there is the disparity that when you have a product ads, you have those codes. In European Union, it's EAN, the GTN13 code, that basically is able to pair your products, even if you and your competitor have slightly different titles. In many products, they're very similar, but I will show you later that it can make a difference. If you manage campaigns globally, you would notice that as you go from west to east, the difference between the shopping and search becomes more and more drastic because of the difference of the languages. It's harder for Google to understand if some type of product is another word. From my experience, if we talk about very east in terms of Europe, about Bulgaria, Ukraine, Russia, where Latin characters are not used whatsoever, the difference in search terms between those two types of campaigns is extreme, and that's why we should leverage it as much as possible. It's of course still relevant for normal, let's say, Western and Central Europe. Example. We sell on our website this perfume, Emmanuel Ungaro, L'Homme the Third, let's say it English. It's eau de toilette, EDT. So the classical division of this is what part of it is a brand, which part of the collection, which part of the product type. If we manage our classical automated text search ads, we will have the following keyword combinations. We basically combine brands and collections and product type to show for those words. And this is the main strategy that you create from your keyword generators. In some cases, it makes sense to use just the collection on its own. In this case, for example, if we talk about France, it makes no sense to use the last keyword because it's a generic word in French and it wouldn't work. However, if I see this in my search campaign and search terms will be very similar to this, in shopping campaign, I see this search term, which is Ungaro 3, which is super shortened version of this product. People are searching for this product, just not the way I expect them. And this is the difference in the shopping search terms, that they're much more linguistically advised. They know what the people are searching for. They are your secret treasure that you already have in your account, and you need to leverage it. So you don't have to come up with other types of campaigns. There is easy workaround. To solve this disparity in my accounts in Notino, what I came up with is to have a script that will be doing this for me. Idea behind it is to take my amazing shopping search terms, subtract from them search terms from search campaign and get that rest. Email me a report of amazing shopping search terms that for some reason I'm not showing for in search. What would be example with the perfume I was showing? So there will be a huge overlap of the search terms, of course, in both types of campaigns. However, that mysterious Ungaro 3, which was not happening for my search campaigns because of the keyword selection, this is the word that will be sent to me by email with data of how many impressions I had, what was the revenue in the past 30 days, and basically passive-aggressive suggestion, hey, you have this keyword, you better apply it also to search campaigns. Of course, depending on country to country, where you have the competition, where you'll be showing in search, you might not get the same volume as you get in shopping, but it's a competitive market. As Mark was sharing in the beginning, perfumes, health, and beauty is extremely competitive market. So if we're able to get those searches, we should strive for them. Example is a proof of concept that I did when I originally created this script. I decided to just work with first 50 search terms that came to me in the report and add them manually as keywords. Of course, I need to track it, so they were labeled. It's 50 keywords, it's not that big of a deal. And after 10 days, I saw that they're already generating revenue. I kept them and I just continued to apply this script so that I can get that volume from other words on and on and on, because it's not as much money, but it still is. However, before preparing this presentation, I was curious what happened to those first 50 words that I added. And by now they generated 26,000 euros. It's not a big money in the prospect of the whole company, but for a job that was done 2 years ago and still generating you money, and other search terms that I was adding were doing the same, they will be this like extra, basically passive income for your PPC campaigns, because they are there, you don't need to change them. And those keywords have amazing conversion rate because shopping campaigns already proved that they're super relevant for your business. A way of using this script is also applying the same logic with DSA campaigns. If you know, the DSA campaigns are basically taking information from your landing page. So there is again this trick of not just having a single keyword, but supplying a whole website or feed with your website landing pages. So Google has much more information from your landing pages of what you're selling. And if you compare your search terms from DSA campaigns, you will see that they sometimes can be more in-depth. Of course, they can be more irrelevant for you and you should go through their search terms. But this is your insight into your own campaigns that you can leverage without working on any other new keyword research. It's already in your account. And a small tip, if you're working in an agency, it's possible to remake this script into MCC level. And basically what you will do is send to every specialist that has, for example, like 5 accounts that he or she manages. And in that email, there will be a summary for the top missing search terms that should have been added to search campaigns from their 5 accounts. It's very scalable solution. And of course, this is, for example, the link to the script that you occasionally will see in this presentation, where you will find how to apply it and how to use it. My next tip is to use bestsellers report in Merchant Center. I must say that now it's currently available only for 16 markets. So for biggest markets in Europe, also USA, Japan, and Russia, they're available, not for all countries, and you have to opt in the settings. So if you have it, you can find it in the section Growth, Bestsellers, Top Products. This information is extremely useful. This screenshot was taken when coronavirus started. I think it was first week when the whole extravaganza of buying hand sanitizers started. And those numbers that you see increasing is the popularity index from Google. On the left, it's from the French campaigns. On the right, it's from UK. And this data is very valuable for 2 points. One of them is the rest of the table also shows you if you have this item in stock, if you're bidding for it in your shopping campaigns, so you can tell to your purchase or commercial department, whoever is handling adding new products to your portfolio, that we have these amazing opportunities, and you have already data how it's popular. So it's leverageable for your business overall, but also what happens when you manage campaigns across the whole continent basically is that sometimes you manage some country that you don't speak the language of, or maybe you're not too fluent in it. What helps you is having there the title from your competitors, how they name the type product, because most likely brand and collection will be the same word. Um, there is no workaround around about it. What will be unique is how people call it. So what you will see, for example, in English example, because we're doing the English webinar, is that somewhere it's called hand sanitizer gel, sometimes it's hand sanitizer, sometimes it's hand cleaner. What is the best way to name it in my portfolio? So you can use this information to check keyword data from Keyword Planner or Google Trends, which of those specific terms is the most searched. So you can change your shopping naming, the title of the shopping item, so that it can push you into the shopping campaigns when it's happening, this hype of a product. So you gain from it. So instead of having hand gel, you can add to your automated product types campaign, for example, or just manually, all the other variations. Some of them will be caught by close variants, especially in English, but in some languages, those wordings can be so different occasionally that you will miss out on those product types that you didn't know exist. But in this case, make sure that you don't confuse hand sanitizer with hand sanitizer. So you might end up with a totally different product ad. Example, when English and another country has totally different results. If I target in UK for the product type body spray, it has very similar meaning of body mist. But in French, there are two different words. One has spray, another has broom, so they're not really pairable by Google automatically. So this is the stuff that I would really appreciate if bestsellers report existed a year and a half ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't available. So I found this information, how to rename it from actually the search term report from the shopping that I was showing a few slides ago. And because I got this information, and I could have gotten it from the competitor, that they call it with the word broom, that I could add it as a product type to my brands, to my collections, and get extra volume. So by now, in about a year and a half that those keywords are added, they generated over 100,000 euros. And this is just search campaigns. We were not showing for those words. We were not stealing this traffic from shopping. It's just extra money in the search that we were able to get from that. However, after the first positive results of this change that we shared with SEO department to optimize for organic, and also, for example, to change the name of the product type on the website, and hence in our shopping feed, shopping results almost doubled, because for shopping it was a signal that, hey, this naming of basically the same product type is so much more relevant. That's what people are searching for. So even if your campaigns are already good, this local insights and checking that report for bestsellers can really help you to sneak and get inspiration of different product namings that can be sometimes better than what you have on your website. Every company tries to localize, but sometimes it's just translations. So this trick can help you get ahead of the market. Next point that kind of goes from the previous one, don't just manually add those new product types. Use automated search product ads. So for example, if you have a feed where you send brand and product type, add in your own feed an alternative product type that you would call type 2, for example, and you would generate from it automatically different combinations of keywords. So you will cover both options, the one that you had before, because it's still popular, it's still searched, but the second one is still better, and you want to have it in your campaigns. And the last tip from this this segment of dealing with search terms is having a backup shopping campaign. It's not exactly brand new revolutionary tip, but it's still something that helps. It sometimes is also known to catch them all shopping campaign. No matter which structure, and here I'm showing the blue marty classical structure dividing brands, collection brands, and generic terms. So trying to simulate this query bidding in shopping campaigns. Have a backup shopping campaign that will have nothing excluded, nothing cross-excluded. Of course, exclude completely irrelevant negative keywords, but otherwise don't exclude any brands, any collections, anything relevant otherwise for your business. Put there a bid that would be lower than the rest of your campaigns, or if you have some automated strategy, excluded from that strategy, so that you have this backup when by accident you excluded something in your original structure, which, for example, it would be these top 3 campaigns. When the market shift happens and people starting to search for something that previously you thought might be not as relevant, or you were not performing as well and maybe you blocked it in more generic campaign, this can be a signal for you that something is happening on the market. I remember Mike was sharing in the previous webinar about the Corona situation and shopping campaigns that in Google Trends, how much people started to search for bread maker machines. So if you had some different naming, you weren't accounting for it, but you actually sell those, and you, because of the naming or bad localization in some country, you are not covering it. This type of campaign can actually lift you up a bit. So now, as we are dealing with extensive search volume that you somehow need to control and conquer, let's get to how to manage your budget. The first tip about the budget is basically budget guard script. If you're from Czech Republic, you heard about it, you probably use it. This script was originally written by Czech Googler Pavel Jacek, and then it was remade into MCC level by Standa Jilek. So this script is checking on daily basis your current spend of the account. For example, this is the cost yesterday in this table, and it compares it to the budget that you have. Now, as Google is sometimes and very often spending over the budget limit, in the control group, you will sometimes see 110, 120, which is like really signaling you should increase the budget, especially if you're running there on some automated strategy, because this is a big no-no for the automated strategies. What the script is good about is it is MCC level. So in one email, you get all the summary. So you will have this block of account 1, and under it, it will be account 2, and so on. You have the overview in the morning of all your campaigns. It's relatively regular, it's on daily basis, and it sends an email, which is nice and cute. And of course, it's publicly available. Article is in Czech, but the words like configuration spreadsheet and script is in English, so it's kind of international, and you're able to find it. It's without any signing up or anything, so you can apply it right away. My approach in Notino, because in a way we are a lucky company that sells so many things online, which in current Corona situation people went to as a solution. For example, buying a lot of skincare, because now we have time and opportunity to deal with our skin issues at home, or for example buying hair products for coloring hair at home or trimming hair and so on. So my workaround in terms of budget was more, how can we get all that volume? Yes, Google has the option to go above my budget, but sometimes it's not enough, because it has this limit of the monthly spend still should be your daily budget multiplied by 30.5. So I want to go around it. When it's season, when it's crisis, I want to catch that volume, unless the warehouse tells me it's too much. Can you slow down, please? So my solution was to have a script that will be checking the spend hourly. Example here, at 4 p.m. I spent 75 euros out of 100, and I'm like, okay, my threshold is 80, so it's still okay. By 5 p.m. I spent already 88 euros, so it's a lot. I'm not even sure that by 11 p.m. there will be still money in even Google's perspective to increase the budget. So I want to check every hour. So it checks, okay, the threshold was 80, so by now it spends 88, so increase my budget by 20%. And because of this, the change happens automatically, and I get an email. Hey, in this account, in this campaign, your budget was increased. So an hour later, it does the same thing. It checks what amount of money we spend by now. Back then, it will be already 6 p.m. If it's necessary, it increases the budget again. So in terms of seasonal changes, of unplanned situation, or for example, redoing the product types that I was showing you before that were actually very meaningful for our traffic, this is helping us to catch all that volume as long as our warehouse is able to do it. But if you have your inventory automated, it's not exactly an issue unless there will be some specific request from the packaging and warehouse. So why this script is good? Because it sends you the email. This is like rough preview of how it looks. I like that the change is immediate. You're being notified of what's happening, and it's able to handle this out of the blue changes. Of course, in every account you have campaigns that you're kind of not sure about, or you want to give them like a flat top of the spend of the budget, so you can exclude them with label. It's all available, you can apply it, it's super easy, set up your own thresholds, it's modifiable, and there you go, hope it helps you. However, since not all companies can afford expanding, there is a script that I don't use, but it can be useful for many companies, is a script by Daniel Gilbert from Brain Labs. And what it does is that it actually hourly checks if you're hitting the limit of your conversion capacity in your whole account. So if you want to, for example, you have a promise, we will deliver in 24 hours, but you have so many orders that you don't want to break that promise, you can actually, because of this, have a conversion limit, and it will pause your campaigns and send you notification that like, okay, you maxed out your capacity, and then you can make the changes. For some business, this is a relevant change. And here's the link to the script. And the last part of my tips and tricks is how to make your ads as flexible as possible. So my original point is having promotions as variables in your text ads. And I will show you what I mean. Our dear hosters of the webinars today, smec, has Ad Engine, which are these dynamic text ads that take information from the feed that you supply, and they make these dynamic ads where you send the product title, pricing, sometimes you can apply it for events and other things. Notino is a Czech startup. We started to use also Czech solution in this way, which is called PPCB, but the logic of it is the same. You have the variables of brands, product names, sizes and colors and so on that you take from the feed and you use them in your campaigns. You might be using Blue Winston or other alternative that makes sense for your market or the features that you require. How it normally looks is that part of the ad you generate dynamically, which will be putting there in the name of the brand, the name of collection, the name of sub-collection. You can have some static wordings like order now, some promotions, and so on. The point of what I want to do is that I want to make the promotion, that last line of free shipping, I want to make it dynamic, because when there is external factors affecting your company, you don't know how long you can make that free shipping. If there is not going to be change from promotion department, if it has to be canceled, some other aspect, when from day to day your whole communication changes. So what I do in this case, I go to the data source where I manage the feed and I create my own custom variable. For example, I name it current promotion because I want to know what's the current promotion in the account, and I name it just text-wise free shipping starting from 12 pounds. What it does is that that last line becomes dynamic, that it's changeable. The relevant question here is like, okay, so you basically reach the whole same endpoint by doing extra 2 steps, and you're right. However, when this situation happens, I love my setup. Because instead of changing all the ads, all the branches of ads, and if you're managing those automated paid search ads, you know that they can be like incredible amount of them. So instead of changing every single ad, clicking it open, saving, and so on, I can just go to data source, change that one promotion, and it will be automatically pushed to all of those ads the next time the sync comes through the account. So you can use it to change different wording of the promotion, to change the money, to change the whole communication, to add filtering if suddenly the promotion is not applicable for the whole website, but only for selected brands, or on the opposite side, you want to exclude some brands from that promotion. It's super flexible. I took it up a notch to make every part of the promotion flexible, and for some companies it can be overkill, but it can be useful. Because promotions, sometimes it's just like a plain on phrase, sometimes you have specific percentage, sometimes you have dynamic of what is discount applied for. Is it all perfumes? Is it specific brands? Is it top sellers? Is it makeup? And so on. And some promotions have an actual code, like just a coupon, that sometimes can be used in the ads, and I want to use it in the ad. So what I do is that I create even more variables for every option there. So for example, the middle of the variables there, you can see code Notino 10. Object of the promotion is all perfumes. The percent that we're discounting is 10, and so on. You can create more involved variables, which brand it affects, and so on. So it creates this dynamic text. So when suddenly, after 3 hours, you get notification, sorry, it's not for all perfumes, it's on the best-selling perfumes. Or we changed the code for that country because that code was used in another promotion. Sorry, can you change it right away? I don't have to go through 50 or more ads. I just change those few values in the data source, and it's done. When you need to be very flexible in those extreme environments, it saves you a lot of time. It takes initial setup to write those ads, but it's very long-term investment into managing your campaigns very fast when the situation happens. For example, this is how it would change if there's difference in communication. There is a quick solution, which I don't consider elegant, but it's an emergency workaround. I was discussing it with one company that when coronavirus started, they sell handmade, and they decided to be really good guys to have a free face mask, a cotton face mask to every order. And I saw it on their website, and I was chatting with them, why you don't have this in the ads? Because people are now freaking out about it. You can put the message in the ad and people will be even more pushed to buy it. And it's also good branding, as we're a decent company in a crisis. We have a gift for you in this tough time. So in ad variations as a feature where you don't have to launch new ads, you don't have to wait for your PPC specialist to copy ads in AdWords editor, you can just quickly do it in the interface to basically for all of the ads, have a new promotion in one of the headlines or description and push it. The cool feature about experiments, though normally experiments should be about 50-50, there is no limit for this feature there. So you can basically fake create new ads across the whole account suddenly with new text, with a new promotion that is relevant now. The trick with this, it is not an elegant solution. It works if there is happening some crisis, you cannot reach someone and you can make this change right away and then pause it when the normal ads are launched. But even though you probably won't use it, it's good to have that there is this emergency lever that you can apply. And I think pretty much the last point of my presentation is make sure you cover your basics. What happens in this changing environments is that suddenly the teeny tiny ad group that wasn't very important to you before, and you're a good PPC specialist who was prioritizing making the most effort, the most work in your most important ad groups, suddenly happens that that ad group left behind long time ago is getting volume, is getting search volume, and suddenly it's super popular. For this, there is a script for you. What you see here is basically counting the ads. It's still very important to have, for example, 1 responsive ads and 2, 3 ETA ads. However, what you can see here in one of the ad groups that was spending 100 euros is only 1 ad. this ad group was a loser before, but as traffic increased, it's spending more and more money, and we want to have as much possible ads in that ad group because it's relevant. We want to make it amazing. We want to show some love to it. So this this script, which is also linked, has three main panels. On the left side, you have overview of your account with all your campaigns. And clearly, with the red color, you see, oh, I have a campaign that is a loser. It has 30,000 impressions. And impression weighted, it has on average only one ad. The rest of my account is fine, but that campaign is not loved. In the middle, you see the ad groups from those campaigns, and some campaigns that overall seem okay. Inside of them, there are still ad groups that spend a lot of money, for example, 133 euros. And there is on average one ad, which is just one ad. And on the very right side, you have the shame panel of your ad groups, basically, which are lined up by the most spending in the past period of time that you set up in your account that need the most love because they are lacking the number of ads. It's very basic, but when there are shifts in search volume, you can suddenly find those ad groups that were not important before spending those money, and you should pay attention to them. This script makes sense to run from time to time on your account, but when there are these market shifts, search volume shifts, try to use them more often to have an overview. Am I missing some potential on the very basics of managing my accounts? So thank you for listening to my presentation. Hope you find something useful from it. And if you like this presentation, go to notino.com and buy some amazing perfumes and makeup. And if you want some more tips and PPC extravaganza of any kind, you can visit my blog, grumpyppc.com. And that's all from me. So thank you, and let me know if there will be questions.
Thank you, Olena. Thank you very much. That really was an excellent deck. Really enjoyed that. A lot of very technical stuff there for people to, to consider. And I guess what we'd like to do now is keep you on there, Olena, so we can maybe go through some questions, some things that may have arisen. And I think there'll be some specific things about Notino because, as you said, the complexity of selling at that scale and against so many competitors is quite something. And the scripts that you guys are using clearly are achieving some of your goals in terms of running a spotlight over your campaigns.